Well, here we are. It's always a treat to be here and to fingers crossed the technology works. Of course it's going to work. Satnam, everybody. Salima here. It is January, and so fingers crossed the technology. And so we're gonna take this on a little bit. I'm really glad you're here. Let me just play around with the screen until I can see you and I can see everything. Thank you. First live of 2026. And I'm delighted to be here with you because we got some really interesting things that we got to talk about now. It is a new year, new month. So if you've been watching the numerology insights that I've been providing, good, you are prepared. You know a little bit about what's coming in this particular year. In the grand scheme of things, when you know what the numerology says, you can plan accordingly, right? So the very basic part of this is, what do I need to know about the year? And what do I need to know month by month so that I can make plans accordingly and I can make really good decisions? Okay, so that's the insight I want to offer you. Today we'll be doing a few things. We'll talk a little bit about January, what it means numerologically. And then we'll also talk about, we'll also do a little practice together, just a short one, five minutes or so. And that will allow us to move forward into this year with a little bit more insight, and to this month with a little bit more insight. So thank you for everybody joining. Thank you, Satnam. Happy 2026. People are coming in with the comments. Please do drop a note. Let me know where you're coming in from. How long have you been doing Kundalini Yoga? How did you come across this channel? All of those things are really helpful for me. They allow me to understand what languages are being spoken, what frame of reference you're coming in with. Is it for healing? Is it for trauma recovery? Is it for your nervous system? All of those pieces help me to decide what content to put here and also to show up for you in a way that you particularly need. Okay, so let's talk about numerology. First of all, what is it? It's an art and a science. The science is the numbers. Every single number has an attribute attached to it. And in this system of numerology, we go all the way up until 11. So that's why 2026, in this frame of numerology, is actually a 10-year, not a 1 year, but a 10-year. And that is a little bit different from what you might be seeing out there in the world of numerology, and that's fine. There are a lot of different systems, a lot of different ways of reading the numbers and understanding it. But if you stay consistent, which is what I want to do for you, when you stay consistent, you can follow one methodology, and that methodology will help you get to the insight that you need. Okay, so first of all, it's a 10-year, which means 2026 will continue to be a wrapping up. So this isn't a fresh start, brand new thing. This is a conclusion of things that have transpired. This is a place where you really start to embody what it is that you already know. Remember that 10 years has gone by, right? So at this point in a 10-year journey, you are coming off the mountain, so to speak. You've spent the early parts of the mountain climbing. Year 5, we all stood on top of the mountain, and now we are making our way off this mountain. And there's certain themes and different ideas that come up around that time. So think about yourself when you have gone on a hike and you have come off finishing your hike. You can see your car in the distance, or the picnic table, or you know that someone's waiting for you. There's a different feeling to that than starting. So when you think about this idea of completing, concluding, coming to completion, this hopefully now gives you a sense of, I did that, accomplishment, right? I went through all of that, I experienced all of that, and now I'm here. And I'm wrapping up these old little parts, and within minutes, we're going to be done. And that's still going to require a little bit of time and essence. And that's okay. It doesn't mean nothing else will happen, doesn't mean nothing new will happen. What it means is that there is an opportunity for the past to really remain in the past, and the future to become a lot more of intentional. So when we're thinking about January, I want you to think about intentionality. What is it that I want to convey? What is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to lead in my life? And that is the operative word. So leading with intention. And if you're here on this channel with me, I think part of that for all of us is, how do I lead with my spirit? How do I lead with a soul? How do I lead from a soul-led place? And that's not about domination. That's not about, I need to be right 100% of the time. I need to be out and large and in charge everywhere I go. It needs to be an inner sense of, this is my path. I'm committed to my path, and my path is going to move me forward. And the more we trust and rely on that inner knowingness, the less we can be led astray by other people and their priorities and what they're doing and why they're doing things. And I think that's a very important place for us to now hold on to. In Chinese astrology, it has been Year of the Snake, and that snake vibe continues until February 17th, so we still have a little bit of time on that. And in that time, you've probably seen a lot of postings on social media about, things being revealed and sheddings. And I think that that's appropriate too. And here we want to take that initiative. We want to set an intention for whatever needs to go is going to be gone, and that whatever is coming will be prepared for. So I'm going to leave you with these ideas. Let's think about the number one in a few more ways. One, singular, first. And with that comes an idea of embodiment, of heart and spirit. And a lot of times this is where people get confused. Do I follow my heart? Do I follow, do I follow my head? Do I follow my heart? And that's where being in the body will really tell you. When we are feeling embodied, in other words, we are paying attention to our eating, sleeping, we can sense sensation. We know when to drink water, we know when to rest, we know when to eat, because we're able to sense those inner urges. Then this also is a really good indicator of being tuned into our intuition. Intuition is of the body. A lot of times people ask me, how do I know if it's my mind or it's my intuition? How do I know if it's my ego or my intuition? And so here's a little shortcut for you. Your ego will speak to you in questions, and your spirit, your soul, your intuition will speak to you in statements. Okay? And that's a very simple rule to follow. And you'll hear it. Turn this way. Will be an intentional voice from your intuition. Are you sure you want to go that way? Will be something like your ego saying to you, asking you to second guess yourself, asking you for some other way of navigating so that you can doubt yourself, right? So that's what the ego is meant to do, is meant to make sure that we're safe. And it'll do that by challenging our sense of right and wrong. And our intuition, on the other hand, will be this dropped-in feeling of, this is where I need to go. Okay, so when we're thinking about leadership, when you're thinking about leadership, remember that it is setting the tone for how you want to conduct yourself the rest of the year. And it doesn't mean, if you're not in that place right now, that you can't do it later. What it means is, let's try this on for style. Let's just try this on for rightness. Because you don't have to be the leader that pushes other people around or dominates anything. You can be the kind of leader that says, I know the way forward, and I'm going to map this out. I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to ask for collaboration. I'm going to ask for I'm going to be cooperative in how I do this, and move your way forward. And it also, remember that it comes from a place of inner knowingness. So we're looking at cycles. Numerology is not a prediction, it is a cycle. And so many of these things we've seen over time. And just because the calendar changes doesn't mean that everybody's ready for a big change. But what it does do is it gives us an opportunity to be intentional. So let's work on a meditation now, Kundalini Yoga meditation, that is all about setting us up for intentionality and trust. Because I think part of where things go awry is, how do I trust my inner knowingness to guide me in the right direction? What is it that's going to bring me to that place? And when we have worked with our nervous system, when we use mantra, when we use breath work, what we're doing is giving the nervous system a very important clue. Everything's fine. For this few minutes that we're together, nothing else disastrous is happening because we're here. And we know that already. Okay. And what we want to do now is step into this understanding that we can trust ourselves. And that part of trusting ourselves is to be able to listen and to take inspired action. And so I'm introducing you today to a meditation for trust. It comes from the world of Kundalini Yoga. And if you've been here to my channel, you know that that's the thing that we really focus on. And Kundalini Yoga is time tested. It is a method, a technology for allowing us to tap into our nervous system using some very ancient practices, mantra, breath work, mudra. So we're going to do all of that today and harness this sense of inner knowingness, inner trust, and then we can take that forward. Okay. Now, remember that if you're looking for a numerology session, you can find all the links below in the description box. And did you know that if you're enrolled in the Kundalini Yoga Training program, you get not only one, but two full readings during the course of your year of study, one at the beginning and one towards the end, when you're ready. And this really sets you up for a very personalized approach to the program. Right, these are the spiritual things I need to focus on. These are the practical logistic things I need to work on in order to get through the program. And at the end, you can see how much and how far you've come in the time that we spent together. Okay, so just a little understanding of where numerology fits. It's a very important part of Kundalini Yoga and a prescriptive tool. Okay, so let's start by getting prepared for our short meditation today. Sitting up tall and straight. Pressing the palms together, shoulders are relaxed, chin is tucked in just a little bit to keep your spine very straight. Focus at the base of your spine. And we begin with our opening mantra, Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. I bow to the teacher within. I call in my highest consciousness. One cleansing breath, another cleansing breath. Good. Sit up tall and straight and imagine the energy at the base of your spine. There's spiritual energy in all of us. And here is our opportunity to tap into that, to really use that energy so that we can feel more aligned. We can put a little bit of the personality down and focus more on what we know intrinsically. Closing your eyes, inhale very deeply, and let's begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo Om Namo Gurudev Namo. One more time. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale very deeply. Set your intentions. Today we're working on the topic of trust. Some part of you that wants to trust. Let's invite that person, that part of your beingness into this. Beautiful. All right, we'll do a series of warm-up exercises. Here is an opportunity to really focus into the body now. So placing your hands onto your knees, inhale as you press the spine forward, exhaling as you roll all the way to the back. I'm just going to do a few of these warm-up exercises to prepare for the movement of energy with the mantra and the mudra that we're using. Inhaling, lifting the chin, exhaling as you roll back. Last two. Last one. And inhale very deeply. Come all the way up to center. Hold still. Hold steady. And exhale. Good. Let's work on the shoulders now. Inhaling as you circle all the way up and back and down. And do the same thing with your breath. Inhaling as you come all the way up and exhaling as you roll down. Inhale and exhale. Last two. Good. Last one. Inhale, come all the way up and exhale, moving all the way down. So if you're joining in the live or in the replay, really great to have you. We're doing a short meditation, and I'll come back and talk to you a little bit more about the numerology for January, how to prepare, what prompts you can use to think this through and to really set your intentions. This is not new year, new me. This is how do I live my life consciously? How do I live with intention? And how do I use the uh, the understanding of this year 2026 as a 10 and this month of leadership to move my dreams, my goals, my wishes further. Last few rounds in this direction. Last two and last one. Inhale very deeply, come to center and exhale. Beautiful. Let's start the meditation now. What we want to do is take one palm on top of the other, doesn't matter which one, and then bring your thumb tips to touch. So this is the mudra that we're using, and it's going to go over our heads. So if that feels like a bit of a stretch to you, then you can certainly leave your hands here. So this is option 2, and here is the full expression. So you want to take this mudra and bring it above your head, closing the eyes slightly and looking down at the tip of your nose. So just get comfortable here. Roll your shoulders back, sit up against the wall or the chair if you need to, recross your legs, whatever you need in order to sit comfortably. It's more important to feel comfortable than it is to be exact. We're very strict about this seated posture. Spine is straight, that's all we need, and a hand position that works. Putting your focus at the tip of your nose, the mantra, Wa He Guru. Wa He Guru. Wa He Guru. We want to bring that into a little whisper here. So we're speaking to our divine self. Wa He Guru. 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 Let's take a moment to adjust your posture. Keep going. Wa He Guru. 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 Halfway there. Wa He Guru. 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 Keep going. If you find that your arms are tired, just know that that's meaningful and important information. If it's creating pain, you can drop your hands down a little bit lower, but I highly encourage you, if you can, just keep it right here. It's a way of helping your nervous system build capacity. Wa He Guru. 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 Inhale very deeply. Hold your position. Exhale completely. Inhale very deeply. And softly, gracefully, with control, relax all the energy downwards. Relax your hands down. Bring your hands to your thighs. And just sit for a moment. Allow the energy to relax. Allow the energy to settle. Good. We're not done yet, so please hang on. We'll talk a little bit more about numerology, talk a little bit more about the benefits and the impact of this meditation, and then we'll finish our time together. Okay. So, what did you notice? How did you shift during this short practice? We did 3 minutes together. What moved? What did you notice about the experience? If you drop a comment into the chat, that would be great. Then I know what you're experiencing, your level of experience with Kundalini Yoga, and it allows us to get a little bit of, gets a little bit closer. Okay, because really noticing these parts are what allows you to help lead your life. And we may notice that part of what leads us is our habits, our old beliefs. And when we can connect to a sense of trusting our inner knowingness, then this allows us to make more informed decisions. So not to stand alone in that, but to be self-defined, not isolated, but self-defined. And this is where we learn how to prevent hesitation. This is where we're no longer asking for permission, but rather following an inner understanding. So remember that January sits inside a bigger context. So January being first month in a 10-year cycle and a way of guiding and leading. And so if your nervous system feels unsafe, then leadership also feels threatening. And that's why these spiritual tools matter. That's why Kundalini Yoga itself matters and why so many of you are here practicing on a daily. And if you haven't met your daily practice yet, that's something that you can be very intentional about in this month to establish that, because it will carry you through. All the doors that have been closed, they start to open. And I don't say that I don't say that all in terms of fantasy, but in my own life experience, the more I double down on my practice, the less effort I put everywhere else. People answer the phone. I get the responses I need. Things that need to be resolved, they resolve. Why? Because my vibratory frequency, your vibratory frequency has changed as a result of chanting mantra, as a result of holding steady intense moments on the mat so that you can hold them off the mat. This is not hocus pocus. This is tried and true and lived experience. And those of you who have understood this or experienced this, please drop a comment in the chat so that we can all see what your experience is like. Okay, so soul-led leadership listens first and then acts. So you can ask yourself now, and these are really good journaling points if you want to come back and review this. Where are you forcing outcomes? Where are you grinding down, expecting, trying to control things? And the inner signals are telling you, hey, stop, think before you act, or just dial things down, or step back. What is your inner knowingness telling you? And when you have leadership that is aligned with that soulful self of you, then you feel it being steady, not frantic, not performative, not with a mask, but real, authentic. And that's where numerology and Kundalini yoga meet. It gives us direction and it regulates the body into that direction. So here are some prompts that I would want you to consider as you go forward. What role am I ready to step into this year? What aspects of myself am I ready to meet this year? What version of myself already knows the next step? And then finally, what am I done negotiating with? Is it your freedom? Is it your sense of autonomy? Is it your independence? What is it that you are finished navigating? Because this place where we start to get uncomfortable is usually what inspires growth. It's very uncomfortable and it will push you into the next place. And that next place isn't bringing all the stuff from the past. It can't. It's not humanly possible. It's not possible according to physics. It's just not. So here's the thing. If you enjoy Kundalini Yoga, if you find yourself at a crossroads, a place of, I know that things need to shift, and I'm starting that process, and you want to deepen this work, you want to really step in and have a community, a structure, accountability, mentorship in that, Kundalini Yoga Training is for you. Without a doubt, hands down. It did that for me, and I want to extend a hand to you. It is a living system. It is a system that, though it is thousands of years old, is live. It's embodied. It is technology forward. It is trauma informed. It is women led. It is inclusive of all walks of life, of all backgrounds, of all sizes, shapes, colors, you name it. People are already there in the program. It is completely an opportunity for you to accelerate in a way that feels most profound for you. And that has meant for many, to be perfectly honest, things ending and a very solid beginning into some things that maybe people have been putting off for a while. And so that, in some cases, that has meant becoming pregnant. In other cases, it has meant leaving relationships that are no longer suitable, no longer healthy, and doing it in the context of community. So what we do in each session is support clarity, purpose, timing, leadership. We talk about that a lot. How do we lead in our lives? Because if you can lead on the mat, you can lead anywhere. And I am definitely living proof of that. 12 months to support your nervous system, to get in the kind of regularity with your practice that will show immediate results and then ongoing change. So if this sounds interesting for you, then I invite you to come into a discovery call with me. Let's talk about it. You and me, one-to-one. Let's talk about what the program can offer, what you will bring to the program as well. And all the links are below. I'd love to meet you, at the very least, to meet you and know that you have taken your interest to the level of coming in and finding out more. And then let's see when you'd like to start. Because the one thing that I've seen now is that as the world changes, as this pace of change in the economic sphere, political sphere, as the boundaries and borders around what we have taken to be normal, as they shift rapidly, the only place that we can actually stand in relation to all that is within ourselves. If we don't have a strong, you've heard me say this, spine of steel, heart of gold, there is no way to navigate all the transitions that are coming. And so from that place of trust, inner knowingness, please come in. There is no greater protection than being able to self-soothe, than being to be surrounded by people who also want the same things you do. And I can't tell you how important that has been over the past 5 years, especially since COVID, and especially all the truth that is emerging now. So many people who have faced traumatic experiences and now starting to talk about it. Decades and decades of untruths now surfacing. And so when we come to that, it can be jarring. You know as well as I do, headlines every day that are disturbing. People who we thought we trusted in government, in Hollywood, in Bollywood, in any of those spheres that we looked up to in any way. Now we see the real sides of them. And that happens on a global scale. And that also happens in our homes, where we start to look around and see those patterns of betrayal, of trauma, of sustained negligence. And these are patterns that now need healing for all of us. And so I invite you into your body, I invite you into a container that you already enjoy so that you can take that next step. That's a lot, but it's meaningful. Lots of love to you. Thank you for those of you who've put your comments in the chat. I love it. Coming in from Maryland, I found you a few months ago, and it's really helped with easing my anxiety and building confidence. I love that in all aspects. You're most welcome. That says it all. You know, sometimes I wonder, why am I doing this? Oh yeah, that's why. Because it makes a difference. And it makes a difference to a lot of people. And you may not ever have an interest in teaching. I didn't. But what you will have is a toolbox of techniques that you use to help yourself, and that impacts more people than you know. And if you do decide to be a teacher, you will impact people I will never meet. And that's what I want to offer you, is a place to have real impact in the world. Lots of love. My name is Salima, yoga therapist. If you're looking for more, please check the links down below. You can find me on Instagram at YogaVision. You can find me on TikTok at YogaVision Online. And drop me an email, love.yogavision@gmail.com. Lots of love, everybody. Thank you. Mwah. See you soon.